Sometimes the reason you feel lost in life is because no one ever truly saw you. You didn't grow up becoming yourself. You grew up becoming what they wanted from you. So then without realizing it, you made yourself smaller, more quiet, more agreeable, less likely to ask for what you wanted. You did whatever you could to keep things peaceful, even if it meant not caring about what you felt. I used to think I was just really indecisive, someone who just couldn't make decisions or figure out what they wanted. But what I learned recently is that I was never given the space to figure out who I really was. So how was I supposed to know what I wanted? It's hard to know who you are when all you've ever known is who you had to be. Ever since I was younger, I was shaped by fear. The fear of being too needy, too much, too emotional. I was so scared of being laughed at or shut down or just embarrassed. So then I just learned to hold it all in, to just play it safe, to become the version of myself that made it easier for other people. And when you grow up in an environment like that, you don't become yourself. You grow around the fear. You try to just be easier to deal with because that's what was easier. That's what was safer. Now that I think back to it, it was very rare for someone to say, that part of you is so beautiful. Make sure you don't lose that. Instead, I felt like parts of me were embarrassing or too much or too needy, so I just kept it all in. And when you keep doing that over and over again, you just start changing, even without realizing it. So for the longest time, when people asked me, hey, Avi, what are your hobbies? What do you like doing? What matters to you? I just freeze. And I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I'd make up answers, but most of the time I would just be like, I don't know. I don't know. Because I was never given the space to explore those parts of myself. And when you're never allowed to explore who you are, you end up spending your whole life feeling like a stranger to yourself. So it sucks when I think about it because I didn't get the chance to build a strong sense of self. I built a strong sense of what I should never be. And okay, so here's the thing. This is what is supposed to happen when you're younger. When you're a child, the people around you are supposed to reflect back how amazing you are. When you laugh, they should light up. When you cry, they should be there to emotionally support you, not shut you down. When you express yourself, they're supposed to say, I see you and I still love you. That's how you're supposed to slowly build this sense of identity. Because you learn all these parts of me are real. This part of me is safe to show to other people. And when that happens, you don't grow up feeling lost. You grow up feeling like you actually belong in your body and you're confident in who you are. But that's not what happened for some of us. So I never learned how to feel like I belonged to myself. Instead, I just got through life making sure I didn't upset anyone. And when that becomes your normal, even when you're alone, you don't feel at peace. You feel empty. Like something's missing, but you usually can't even explain why. But I've learned and I've finally figured out why. It's because the version of you that kept other people happy has nothing to offer you when you're on your own. And that's when you realize what's left is the version of you that never got to fully exist. Like if the people around you were supposed to be a mirror that reflected back who you are, what happens when all they reflect is judgment or silence? You start to think maybe who I am is wrong. Maybe I need to change to be accepted. So instead of becoming your real self, you became the version that didn't get you in trouble, the version that didn't cry too much, who didn't ask for much. And that's why I felt so disconnected moving through life. I woke up, I acted the way I was supposed to act, and then I would just repeat it. I never stopped to ask myself, is this what I want? Is this who I am? And since I love analogies, it was honestly like I was playing this video game where I was this character just doing certain things to get through each level. So the main thing I realized from all this is that I didn't just randomly become disconnected from who I am. I became disconnected because it was the only way to feel safe. And it's something you always have to think back to because sometimes it's not as obvious as you think. Sometimes it's such small things that you never even considered. Like maybe you had a parent that only praised you when you did something good, or a sibling who always rolled their eyes when you cried, or a teacher that told you, okay, stop being dramatic, or a group of friends that only liked you when you acted a certain way. All these moments start adding up, and piece by piece, you start losing who you are. Oh, and also, it's not even that you lost yourself. You just hid yourself because that's the version you felt like was going to be accepted and loved. Because that's where the real me got buried. So now I'm really starting to ask myself important questions like, what do I enjoy? What feels good to me? What do I need? Not what someone else thinks I need. And I know it sounds simple, but it's not. It's gonna take time. Because when you've spent your entire life being who you think other people would like, being yourself feels so unfamiliar, so unnatural. So the best part about all this is that we weren't too sensitive, we were never too much, we were never lost, we were just never seen for who we truly were. But we can learn to see ourselves now. Oh, and this time, we get to decide who we are.